In Romania, I helped over 10,000 people to overcome anxiety and limiting beliefs. The subconscious mind does not listen to affirmations, to positive thinking, to intentions. It obeys to commands. When you command it, it will always obey.
That's going to be intense, but we're still going to do it for you guys. So enjoy.
I command that this change takes place now and forever into his consciousness and in all the cells of his physical body.
Mental reprogramming. Explain me a little bit what it is and how did you come up with that?
Well, I never done any course in order to teach others or to have like a career in this field, but I experienced myself a lot of anxiety. I had a lot of traumas from my childhood growing up, and I experienced social anxiety until I was 26 years old. And because I was so passionate and desperate to heal myself, I was so disciplined, and I've done a lot of practices, self-development, spiritual practices, and a lot of discipline until I became financially and emotionally free. And it became so natural to help others. And now I have an amazing technique with which I can command to the subconscious mind, because this is how it's called, is the command method, with which you can reprogram any limiting beliefs, fears, traumas, or remove any negative emotions, and you feel the results instant. And this is the amazing thing, that you feel the results instant, and everybody can experience it even for free. And in Romania, I helped over 10,000 people actually to overcome anxiety and limiting beliefs, but I have only 2,000 students that have decided to learn the technique. But many people, they just want to have the results, not necessarily to learn it. But I always encourage people to learn the technique, because it's an amazing skill to command your subconscious mind just like that and to see the results instant. I think it's a powerful skill to have.
Beautiful. Okay, so let's talk about the technique, and then maybe let's try it on me.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So what is a technique?
As I said, it is a technique that you can command to the subconscious mind to change, and it will obey instant. Because let me give you more clarity. First of all, the neuroscientists are affirming that we operate 97% of our lives from subconscious programs and beliefs. And this is why we want to change the subconscious mind, because every day you wake up and you have about same thoughts, same behavior, same emotions, you take about same decisions, same habits and so on. And once you change the subconscious mind, your life will change, your reactions will change. For example, I never felt social anxiety, even though I felt it for so many years, from the morning until evening, and now I cannot find it anymore. It is not in it's not in the memory of my subconscious mind. And what I learned throughout so many years of hard discipline is that the subconscious mind does not listen to affirmations, to positive thinking, to intentions, whatever. It obeys to commands. When you command it, it will always obey. I know it sounds too woo-woo, but it's very important to experience this technique. And I know many people are skeptical, but if you are open to experience it, you are welcome to experience it, because nobody never complained that they changed the subconscious mind. Nothing worse can happen. You just come, you experience, and you will see an amazing transformation.
So there's no side effects.
No.
I won't get rush and headaches after that.
No, never.
Okay,
Nobody
cool.
complained ever.
Well, for the audience, we did try it before. Like, we had a session with you, and it was really good. That's why we're talking here, because it was a very.
That's why you invited me here.
Yeah, it's very powerful. So maybe let's try removing another common belief, and people can follow along the journey.
Cool.
Okay, so we talked about money beliefs, because a lot of people like, I don't have enough money, or I never have enough money.
Yeah.
So that's a common belief.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how much money you have. If you have that belief, it will never be enough.
Exactly.
The only thing I'm afraid of, I still want to have more money. So I don't want you to remove completely my beliefs not to pursue money, but I don't want to have fear of not having enough.
Okay, let me give you more clarity. When you think about your finances right now, if you feel like any negative thought, any emotion, or like any guilt or any frustration and something that is missing, you will never be successful like internally, because you're gonna radiate that negative energy, that negative emotion into the universe, and you attract things that resonates with the energy and the emotions that you have inside of you. This is logic. This is the law of attraction basics. And if you want to become financially free, the only thing that you need to do is to remove all the negative emotions that you have related to your financial situation. And this is how I become financially free, actually, by becoming emotionally free first.
Interesting. And what was some of the beliefs you had around money?
The beliefs are also associated with the emotions. You cannot have like a fear or a limiting belief if it's not attached to a negative emotion. I had so many of them. Like I never have enough money. I will always be poor. I have to struggle. Money comes very hard to me. I have to work very hard for money and so on.
Okay.
There's so many limiting beliefs in the subconscious mind. Even the fear of asking for money. That's also another thing.
Yes.
People are afraid to ask for money that they deserve and they earn.
Yes.
I also had that belief. I was doing like construction jobs in London, where I was a student in my early stage, and I was afraid and ashamed to ask for money for the money that I worked for.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So let's work on me then. I do have
Okay.
beliefs around money.
Let's go.
Okay. So one of the beliefs I would have around money is that it's never enough. Like no
Okay.
matter how much I make,
Okay.
and I make good money, but inside of it is like,
I
no,
never have enough money.
I never have enough, and I
Yeah.
actually spend also quite a lot, and I think this is like sabotaging myself, saying I don't have enough. When I have enough, I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have enough. So I spend what I have to not have it, and then I
Okay.
need to chase it. So I
Okay.
would like to remove that.
Okay, let's remove it. And for the ones that are watching, if you have this limiting belief that I never have enough money, you can follow along and you will also see a change and a transformation. And watch until the end, because you will see how you can experience this technique for free for whatever blockage or fear you have. So let's do it. Well, first of all, Anatoly, tell me how intense and true it is, this fear or limiting beliefs on a scale from 0 to 10 right now. The belief that I never have enough money.
8.
8. Okay. Can I get my phone actually, because I need to write down what I will find in your subconscious mind. Okay, but let me give a little bit more clarity before we're doing this, because a lot of people are doing a lot of self-development practices, techniques, methods, doing affirmations, therapies, whatever, to improve their lives, but they don't have clarity. Nobody can measure and quantify the results that they have, and this is a big problem that people have. And you know what is the biggest frustration that 90% of the people that come to experience the technique have in common? They all telling me the same thing. For the last years, I've been doing a lot of self-development practices, techniques, therapies, but I'm still at the same level. I'm still facing the same problems and issues. Why? Because people don't have clarity. You need to understand exactly what is in your subconscious mind to do an evaluation of your main limiting beliefs and fears. You need to see where are you in point A right now and where you need to be in point B, where you don't have any limiting beliefs or fears. And this is why I've asked you the question, how intense and true it is the belief on a scale of intensity from 0 to 10. We need to identify clearly how intense it is for you right now, and you will see at the end of these commands, you will not be able to think it anymore.
Okay.
You will not be able to put the finger on that belief, and it will be like you can't think negatively about money anymore.
All right.
Because the subconscious mind is not necessarily that changing the subconscious mind is not guaranteed that you will manifest whatever in your life. But what is a guarantee is that you will change your negative reactions,
Okay.
like your negative emotions.
That's all I need.
Cool.
The rest I can figure out.
Yeah. And then you can take better decisions. You can have, more confidence, more clarity, and so on.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, so you have the limiting belief that you never have enough money of an intensity of 8.
Yeah.
Cool. Any questions before we start?
No. I'm just nervous.
Okay, so this is what we're gonna do in the beginning. It's important to do what I call a digging technique, because the beliefs in the subconscious mind are not individual. They are connected to others, and we need to put some questions in order
That's gonna be intense, but we're still gonna do it for you guys. So enjoy.
to find what is behind this belief, what is the root cause of this fear or this belief. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and I want you to answer only with the first words that are coming to your mind without giving me explanations. And if you try to give me explanations, I will stop you. Okay?
Yes.
Cool. And once again, the purpose of the questions is to find out what is the root of this belief. And then we will reprogram all of those beliefs one by one. Cool. So tell me, what is the worst that can happen if you never have enough money? The first words that are coming to your mind, like the first sentence.
I'm gonna be poor.
And what is the worst that can happen if you're gonna be poor?
I'm going to let my family down.
And what is the worst that can happen if you will let your family down?
My family will suffer.
And what is the worst that can happen if your family will suffer?
They're going to have a bad life and stress and trauma.
And what is the worst that can happen if your family will have a bad life full of traumas and suffering?
They're going to pass it to a next generation.
And what is the worst that can happen if you're gonna pass this suffering to the next generations?
We're going to continue passing the bad habits, stress, and trauma of their family and their family and their family, so on, so on. It's a recursive thing.
And what is the worst that can happen if this will happen forever?
My line, whatever the family line, is gonna be tainted with my bad decisions, which sounds so stupid.
And what is the worst that can happen if your family line will be cursed with your bad decisions and poverty?
Well, they're gonna, I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean,
you're gonna feel guilty, or
well, how am I gonna feel? In generally, I feel like I failed.
I failed as
Yeah.
a father or as a
As
provider.
a father, yeah. As a father and as a employer.
And what is the worst that can happen if you failed as a father?
It's gonna be very sad.
Okay. Okay, cool. So tell me, when you think about this belief that you never have enough money, do you feel right now like a negative emotion in your chest or in an emptiness in your stomach? Do you feel a negative sensation like a heaviness, something in the chest? What do you feel
pressure
emotionally?
in the chest, yeah.
Pressure in the chest. And what else do you feel in the chest?
Like
anxiety, fear, frustration, sadness. What do you feel? Sadness. What else?
Sadness and anxiety.
And how intense it is, this emotion right now in the chest area on a scale of intensity from 0 to 10 right now?
8.
8. Okay. You see, it's correlated with the belief usually. Cool. So now we have identified what negative emotions and limiting beliefs you have in your subconscious mind. And just to give you more clarity, this is very common. Like all the fathers, they have this belief that they failed as a father, and especially the mothers, they have the fear that their kids will suffer or something bad will happen with them, like something bad is gonna happen. These are the common beliefs of the parents. Just to give you more clarity, you're not special. Many people have these beliefs in their subconscious mind.
Okay, I'm not a special snowflake. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, most of the fears are common to people's subconscious mind.
Yeah.
Cool. So
happy
now,
to hear. It means that.
So now that we have identified these fears, it's going to take me perhaps about 5 to 7 minutes to make the commands to your subconscious mind. So basically, I will command that each individual fear or negative emotion to be taken from you, sent into the universal consciousness, and replaced with something good, and you will see the results instantly. Yeah. So are you giving me the permission to make these commands to your subconscious mind?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. And for those that are following and they have the beliefs or the fears related to Anatoly, you will also feel a change if you are present and you watch this properly. Yeah. And if you're giving the permission, you might feel some results, but it's important to experience the technique one-on-one if you want a proper transformation. Cool. So take a couple of deep breaths in. I mean, you experienced it before. It's not something special. Cool. So I command that all the pressure that Anatoly feels into his chest right now, and all the conflicts for which he feels this pressure into his chest area right now, all the sadness and negative emotion that he feels into his chest area right now, and all the conflicts for which he feels this sadness and negative emotion into his chest area right now, all the anxiety and fear that he feels into his chest area right now, and all the conflicts for which he feels this anxiety and fear into his chest area right now, and all the emotional blockages stuck into his chest and heart chakra, I command to be taken from him and sent into the universal consciousness, along with all the roots, causes, and conflicts, and be replaced with power, courage, enthusiasm, prosperity, love, and the best program coming from the universal consciousness for his highest good. I command that this change takes place now and forever into his consciousness and in all the cells of his physical body. I command that Anatoly's belief and program, I failed as a father, I command to be taken from him and sent into the universal consciousness along with all the roots, causes, and conflicts and be replaced with I have succeeded as a father, I am an amazing father and I'm proud of me and I'm free, and the best program coming from the universal consciousness for his highest good. I command that this change takes place now and forever into his consciousness and in all the cells of his physical body. I command that Anatoly's belief and program, my family line will be cursed with the bad decisions and my poverty. I command to be taken from him and sent it to the universal consciousness along with all the roots, causes, and conflicts and be replaced with my family line and the future generation are blessed with my amazing life and success that I have, and the best program coming from the universal consciousness for his highest good. I command that this change takes place now and forever into his consciousness and in all the cells of his physical body. I command that Anatoly's belief and program, I will continue to pass the suffering to the next generation. I command to be taken from him and sent into the universal consciousness along with all the roots, causes, and conflicts and be replaced with I will continue to pass my amazing success and realizations to the next generations, and I'm proud of me, of everything that I've done, and everybody is happy and thankful for me, and the best program coming from the universal consciousness for his highest good. I command that this change takes place now and forever into his consciousness and in all the cells of his physical body. I command that Anatoly's belief and program, my family will have a bad life and are suffering. I command to be taken from him and sent into the universal consciousness along with all the roots, causes, and conflicts and be replaced with my family have an amazing life and everybody is free and happy and they will live an amazing life forever, and the best program coming from the universal consciousness for his highest good. I command that this change takes place now and forever into his consciousness and in all the cells of his physical body. I command that Anatoly's belief and program, I will let my family down. I let my family down. I command to be taken from him and sent into the universal consciousness along with all the roots, causes, and conflicts and be replaced with I am an amazing father and provider and I lift my family up and everybody is thankful and everybody love me. And the best program coming from the universal consciousness for his highest good. I command that this change takes place now and forever into his consciousness and in all the cells of his physical body. I command that Anatoly's belief and program, I'm gonna be poor, I am poor. I command to be taken from him and sent into the universal consciousness along with all the roots, causes, and conflicts and be replaced with I am rich, I always gonna be rich and prosperous and I'm free, and the best program coming from the universal consciousness for his highest good. I command that this change takes place now and forever into his consciousness and in all the cells of his physical body. I command that Anatoly's belief and program, I never have enough money, I command to be taken from him and sent into the universal consciousness along with all the roots, causes, and conflicts and be replaced with I always have more than enough money, I have unlimited money and I am free, and the best program coming from the universal consciousness for his highest good. I command that this change takes place now and forever into his consciousness and in all the cells of his physical body. I command that all the receptor centers for the old programs, beliefs, and emotions of Anatoly to close and to open new receptor centers for the new programs, beliefs, and emotions.
All right.
Okay, and take a couple of deep breaths in. You can maybe stretch your body a little bit, become more present.
I was kind of in trance when you were saying that.
I mean, it's not necessary to meditate or whatever. If you give me the permission,
yeah.
you can go to sleep and you will wake up a different person.
Wow. Yeah, I feel lighter for sure.
Okay. Just usually you should feel the effect in about 1 or 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But let's see how you feel now. So tell me try to think about the belief that you never have enough money and tell me how intense it is, the heaviness and the anxiety from the chest on a scale of intensity from 0 to 10 right now.
I would say maybe 3.
Okay, so it's been lowered from 8 to 3.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And think about mentally about the belief that you never have enough money. Tell me how intense and true it is right now on a scale of intensity from 0 to 10.
Also like 3.
Yeah, they're related usually.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's been lowered from 8 to 3, the
Yeah.
belief.
Wow. Awesome. So when you say the command, is it like the particular words you need to say? Is that
It is
like a chant or no?
it's not a chant. It is a formula. You need to be clear about what to command to the subconscious mind, because um, it's not good to do chaotic commands. You have to you need to have clarity. What are the receptor centers, for example, how to do the visualization, what is the universal consciousness. There are some elements that you need to be aware, but mainly what we do, I command to your subconscious mind. Yeah, we first of all we identify the belief, then we command to be removed from you and replaced with something else, and the subconscious mind obeys instantly to the commands if you do them correctly, and you see the results.
Yeah.
Tell me, how was the experience?
Really good, really good.
How does it feel to not feel the belief anymore, like instant?
I feel really good. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. So it really matters what you say in this case. So it's not like how you say it and what you say, right? So all this matters in terms of removing subconscious beliefs. So if I would say the same thing to you, would that work?
If I have the belief and you identify it, yes. I mean, I don't have a special power. Everybody have this power
Yeah.
and ability. I have 2,000 students that have learned the technique with success,
Okay.
and they all can apply the technique on themselves, on others,
Yeah.
so on.
How did you find that this works? Like what was the process of finding this method?
Well, there are a lot of techniques and ideas that you can command to the subconscious mind to change. For example, it was a philosopher in the 20s that was talking about this idea of commanding to the subconscious mind. But they don't have exact clarity. I mean, basically about 3 years ago, this technique was taught to me, but it was like a very basic version of it. Just make commands to a belief, but it was not very clear about how you can measure the results and how you can do the digging technique. And for example, the digging technique is not something that I invented. This is from modern psychology. Yeah, just to become aware of what is the root cause, but just to become aware is not enough to reprogram it. And basically I have adapted this knowledge and this information about making commands to the subconscious mind to my own ideas and philosophy that I have gathered along my many years of intense self-development, and the fact that I became myself emotionally and financially free. And I started to adapt this technique to apply it, for example, on negative emotions, on traumas, and on so many other aspects of life, and it's been working. I started to apply it on others. People saw amazing results. Like it's also working for the healing body. For example, this is how I started actually doing the course in Romania. I helped a girl to recover her sense of smell. She couldn't smell since 23 years old because she had a trauma on her childhood, and since then she never had the sense of smell. I reprogrammed the trauma, and she started to have the sense of smell. She started crying on Facebook, and had a big wave of people like coming, hey, I want to experience this, I want to experience this. So I had to do the course.
Wow. Wow, crazy.
Yeah. Once again, I never learned any course or any particular discipline just to have a career into this field.
Yeah.
Things were happening to me. I was disciplined, and I done a lot of courses just to help myself, not necessarily to help others, but now I'm help others naturally.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about your story. So it's anxiety you had. Where did it come from?
From my father, actually, even though my life is amazing right now, but obviously my life was not always like this. I grew up into a complex family where I experienced a lot of traumas and domestic violence, and I grew up with this belief that I don't deserve to live.
Okay.
Because my father made my mistake, and he was very violent with me, and even since I was very young, he was telling me how happy he if I was not there, and he was telling me to leave the house. And it was very traumatic for me, even though he maybe did not had those intentions, but those words were affecting me and his decisions and the way he was behaving with me. And until I was 26 years old, I experienced a lot of social anxiety. For example, I was in London, a student. I was going to a shop, and if the seller was looking into my eyes, I was so ashamed of myself, and I had panic attack. I had panic attacks almost every day
Wow.
while being in social environments.
Wow. And what happened? What was the time when you like, it's enough. I need to change. What was the
Well,
moment?
it was a huge, long period of my life where I was so desperate to heal myself. Like, for example, it was a period of about 6 years when I was in London where I couldn't sleep at night if I knew that in that day I was not doing something very important and significant to change and improve my life. I was waking up every day at 5 a.m., doing a lot of discipline practices, affirmations, meditations, EFT tapping, psyche, theta healing, timeline healing, going to a lot of courses. I've done even ayahuasca about 25 times. I've done so many things. I was the guy that have practiced everything that I came across in order to heal myself.
Yeah.
And everything came since I was actually 13 years old, where I had a profound spiritual experience, and I become fascinated about this idea that we can create our experience of life with our thoughts and emotions. And I started to read hundreds of books about spirituality and self-development, and that's my story.
Can you share
In
your
shortly.
profound spiritual experience?
Yeah, I mean, I had so many, but
But like
the first,
13-year-old one?
yeah, I mean, uh, basically when I was 13 years old, my mother gave me some books about spirituality, and I was initiated actually in Reiki, even though I don't agree with Reiki anymore because they use entities and whatever. But anyway, I was initiated in the first level of Reiki, and I remember that those times I broke my rib and I couldn't sleep. I was in high school and I couldn't sleep properly. I was sleeping on a chair. I couldn't cough. I couldn't breathe for 2 weeks. It was so painful, and it was supposed to last for 3 months. That pain, until
Wow.
I recover my rib. And at that moment, I called my spiritual. I mean, the master that taught me Reiki in the first level, and I told him what happened. He asked me to come to his house. I was a child. I was
Yeah.
so far away from being conscious of anything, and he asked me to lay down on a massage table where he used to do the whatever science and Reiki on me. And in less than 1 minute after I lay down on that bench, on that table, I barely laid down because it was so painful, and he told me that's it. And I was like, what do you mean that's it? And I got up from that table. I couldn't feel the pain anymore. I punched myself. I jumped a couple of times. The pain was not there.
Wow.
And I had like a panic attack. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
How is this possible?
Yeah.
And I ran away from there. I was a child.
Makes sense.
I was like,
I would run
what
away
is
now. I'm like,
I
"What
was
the-"
what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
And I started to realize that life is not really the way our religion or society or the school has taught us to be. And I became super curious about how the hell did that happen.
How did that happen, you
Yeah.
think?
And after that, I had some other profound spiritual experience, even more powerful than that. But I mean, that's how everything started,
Okay. So
with a miraculous healing, let's say.
yeah. So looking back, how do you think that happened?
Well, it's very simple. I mean, I understand how Reiki works, even though they use some entities there to help, but I don't agree with asking external forces or entities to help ourselves, because they usually have intentions like and you don't know what are those intentions. You don't know the price that you pay for that help.
Yeah.
Basically, and that's why I prefer to use this method, where I use the power of my consciousness to change my consciousness or your consciousness,
Yeah.
without any external forces or entities.
Interesting. For people who are not initiated and they're like, entities, what is that?
Well,
So
let's call it external forces, like, I don't know, spiritual entities, God, whatever.
yeah. What is your beliefs in general in terms of like, is there one God? Is there like, because you're talking to this consciousness that you're sending your commands to, what is that consciousness?
Well, that universal consciousness is basically, we can call it the consciousness of God, where all the experiences and the informations are stored from this universe. I don't believe that universal consciousness or the God consciousness see the world as we see, like that is a negative emotion or that is a fear. No, it's just an experience, it's just an information.
Okay.
And yes, indeed, I do believe at some point there is a God, but in this particular life, in this body where we have our consciousness, I believe that we have the free will, and the
Yeah.
God just gave us the free will to experience whatever we want here.
Okay.
And this is where we are. But yes, indeed, at some point we are all one.
Yeah.
But until then, we are here in these particular individual bodies,
Yeah.
and we have the free will to do whatever we want. I mean, the free will is also maybe limited into
Yeah.
some perspectives.
Free will, not so free.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, in
Okay.
some way, shape, or form, we have some free will. We have
Yeah.
the power to change our subconscious mind, and by changing our subconscious mind, we can change our life.
What is subconscious mind?
The subconscious mind is like the store where all the informations and the memories are basically stored, and we experience the life through those filters and the memories that we have gathered along our life into our subconscious mind. And the purpose of our subconscious mind is actually just to survive. It's not to thrive.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Why?
Well, because, for example, if you had the trauma, for example, I had a huge trauma in my childhood where I was going to a shop and I was bullied. Yeah, and that's why even when I was 26 years old, my subconscious mind was giving me those memories back to my consciousness, just to protect me from the shop, because I understand in my subconscious mind that if I go to a shop, there is a danger there.
Yeah.
And even though I was 26 years old, the Indian, I don't know, was looking into my eyes while doing the shopping, and I had panic attack.
Wow. And do you think it's passed from generation to generation, or
It might be, but those particular emotions were from myself. For example, if you look at your life, all the negative emotions or negative reactions that you have are not new, are old emotions and are familiar emotions.
Yeah.
Are emotions that you experience in your life. For example, whenever you had a trauma or a more intense experience, the memory of that experience was stored in your subconscious mind. And whenever you want to take a decision or you want to uh, do something, if you have a fear or a negative emotion related to that particular thing you want to do, it will come up. For example, if you had a trauma related to dogs, whenever you came across dogs, you're gonna feel the negative reaction. If you have a negative trauma about business, whenever you want to do a business, you will have the fear coming up. Oh, I don't want to do that. I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna not be good enough, whatever.
Yeah, it never works or stuff like that.
Yeah.
You tried it never works, and you store in your subconscious that, okay,
Yeah.
it will never work. It doesn't matter that you haven't tried enough or you were not skilled enough. You just blame yourself. Essentially, subconscious is when you blaming yourself for situations that happen externally, and then you store it, and then you kind of reenact
Repeat it.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
95% of our thoughts and emotions are repeating almost every day. This is what the neuroscientists are saying. Like 95% of the emotions you had yesterday and a week ago,
Yeah.
you'll have them today, tomorrow, and a week in the future.
Wow. So 26, you were the guy who was having a panic attack in the store, and now you're sitting here financially free and emotionally
I know.
stable.
At 26 years old, I actually became financially and emotionally free.
So something happened.
No, it was a long period of my life, as I said, where I've done a lot of discipline, but very intense discipline.
Okay. So what worked?
Actually, I came to the realization after so much discipline and self-development and different practices and therapies, I came to the conclusion that not a lot of things are working.
Okay.
For example, I was in London in a huge spiritual community, let's say, where there were like 100 people, and we were doing a lot of holistic events and activities and whatever. And there were a lot of people that were working on themselves since so many years, even after 10 years of reading books, doing disciplines, practices, therapies, whatever. And they were still facing negative situations in their life. They were going to a job that they don't like. They had negative relationships and so on. And I was like, how is this possible? And actually, the only thing that worked for me is releasing negative emotions. And this is what I've done actually in those 6 years of intense self-development. I was releasing my negative emotions through different practices, through Psyche, through EFT tapping, meditations, whatever, writing journals. I was so desperate to heal myself. And whenever I was releasing negative emotions, but not just releasing negative emotions, I don't know, by doing energetical work, by doing them literally and properly as I done to you. You saw how intense it is, the negative emotion in the beginning. Yeah, we done the commands and you checked that is being reprogrammed and released. And this is also how I become financially free, by releasing all the negative emotions that I have related to my financial situation. Now I can let my mind think of any situation, past, present, and future, and I cannot find any negative emotion there. This is
Oh,
what I call to have a higher level of consciousness, or to be emotionally free.
okay. Financially and emotionally free.
Yeah.
And I
And
think one depends on another, right?
yeah,
If you're not
you
emotionally
cannot
free.
be financially free if you're not emotionally free, first of all, because you can have, for example, $5,000 or euros in your bank account. You can be super free, happy, excited that you're prosperous and free, and you can enjoy your life. Or you can have €500,000 in your bank account, but you can be full of anxiety, full of fears that you're gonna lose, that is not enough, whatever. So it doesn't matter necessarily the amount that you have.
Yeah.
It matters the reactions that you have to whatever happens in your life.
Yeah. So how does, when you became emotionally free, how does your reality changed to become financially free? What was the journey?
Well, for example, if right now when you think about your finances, if you have fears, negative emotions, or frustrations, whatever, as I said, you're going to attract things and situations that resonates with those emotions that you have. And once you reprogram everything, you're going to think more positively. You're going to take different action. Different scenarios will happen in your life. And it's not necessarily guaranteed that you become a millionaire or whatever, but you're going to react differently. You're going to feel more free. You're going to feel more happy and peaceful about whatever happens in your life and what situations you have.
And in your case, what happened? Like, let's say you became emotionally free. How
I
did you?
stopped working. First of all, I stopped working.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I quit my job, and since then it's been about 7 years. I never had a job ever since.
And what happened? Like,
And that's why I call financially free. I was, even though I was not necessarily a millionaire or super rich, but I had the ability to travel the world, even though I did not had like huge amounts of money, but I was free. I never had to worry. And it's not that I never had to worry. I could not ever worry about my finances because I don't have negative reactions. Even though I insist and I focus right now to feel a negative emotion, I don't find it.
wow. So for somebody listening, they're like, they're feeling a negative emotion right now about you quitting the job, and they're like, I can't quit my job. So what came through your mind? How does quitting your job happen, and how did you made money
Actually,
afterwards?
I actually quit my job a couple of times, but then I went back to work because I still feel like negative emotions, and I was worried about what was happening and so on. And it was a process. And also I did not had this powerful technique back then. I can say that, or for example, all the progress that I had during 6 years of very intense and powerful self-development does not compare with the progress that I had even in a couple of months by doing this mental reprogramming technique.
Okay. So how did you make money when you quit your job?
I was doing actually some MLM, and I had some investments in crypto, and I was traveling the world, and things were happening to me. Actually, I was invited to different interesting events, like for crypto, whatever. Things were just happening to me, and I had amazing relationships with successful people and mentors that they liked me, they liked my positivity. And actually I asked them like a couple of months ago, why were you spending time with me? Because I was so limited back then and you were a millionaire. They said, well, I just liked your energy.
Yeah. So you
And
attract the right people.
yeah,
When you attract the right people, you attract the right
when you're
opportunity.
excited about life, when you're happy and positive, things are happening differently.
Yeah. Okay. This is interesting. And emotionally free also required you to go through a bunch of techniques. And at one point, did you realize,
No,
okay,
it's not to go through. I mean, that was my story.
yeah.
But for you, for example, it's not necessary to go through all that
Yeah.
process. You can learn the mental reprogramming technique, and you can make commands whenever you have like a negative emotion. You don't need to do like all the exercise that we've done, you can make like a mental command. I command that this negative emotion that I feel right now, blah, blah, blah. And you can do this command in your thoughts, in your mind, even while you're driving, even while you're cooking or doing whatever activity.
Yeah.
If you feel like a negative thought or emotion, you just make the command to reprogram it, and you will see that it will disappear instant.
Yeah.
And if you do this for a couple of weeks or months, you're going to see that you start to have less and less negative emotions, and you might gonna have negative emotions like, I don't know, once every couple of weeks, every couple of months, until you will have less and less triggers.
Okay.
This is the
Interesting.
process of becoming emotionally free.
And what happens when the negativity comes, when the bad moments happen in your life? What happens now?
I just commanded.
So you feel it, like you have better awareness now that negative emotion entered
Exactly.
my space.
This is the first thing and the most important element to learn, and this is what I teach to my students. They're gonna become, first of all, more aware of their emotions, because a lot of people, for example, they suffer, they have anxiety, and when I ask them, where do you feel the anxiety, they never thought that the emotions are in their body.
Yeah.
We're so disconnected from the awareness of our emotions that we don't know if we are suffering actually. And by doing this process, you're going to become more and more aware of what is happening inside your body, inside your consciousness. And by repeating this process of releasing your negative emotions, you're going to become more present, more conscious, more aware in your body, in your
Okay.
consciousness.
So once you learn a technique, it's easier to be aware, essentially.
Yeah, I
Or
mean, it is a process. Maybe the first 2 weeks, you're not going to be so aware, but by releasing the negative emotions once, and you saw that is happening, the next time when you suffer and you have negative emotions, you can remember, hey, hold on, I have a technique and I can command it to disappear. I command it, wow, it's gone. And then you're gonna become more, let's say, aware of the fact that you can release the negative emotions, because even though you hear this information right now,
yeah.
the next time when you have negative emotions, you're gonna forget that you are able to reprogram them.
Yes, that's the
And
biggest
by
problem.
doing it a little bit, you're gonna get into the habit of doing it
Okay.
naturally. And when you get the habit of doing it naturally, that's the moment when the suffering stops.
And is there like a routine when like I wake up in the morning and I'm like,
Yeah, whenever you
what
have
negative emotions do I feel?
whenever you feel them, you don't need to necessarily look for them. You just need to surrender to life, and whenever something is happening, make the command and it's gone.
This is the hardest part.
No, it's easy.
The hardest part is to be aware. The hardest part is to stop yourself. Because if you can stop yourself and have awareness, you're halfway there, right?
If you suffer and you saw that you can take a pill and you stop the suffering, what you're gonna do the next time when you suffer? You're gonna forget about the pill, or you're gonna continue to suffer? You're
Makes
gonna take
sense.
the pill. Yeah, you're gonna make the command.
Yeah.
Now
And
that you saw that you can reprogram any limiting belief or negative emotion, what you're gonna do with your life? You're gonna learn the technique.
I'm gonna learn a technique.
I mean, it's very hard to pretend that nothing happened, right?
Yeah.
It's very hard to go back to your normal life and say, well, nothing happened, I will continue to live my own way.
Well, we had one about we were talking before about me being more consistent, so removing the limiting belief that I'm not consistent. That's what we did a few weeks ago. I cannot say that I still fall into the old patterns though. I'm still not as consistent, but maybe my view of consistency needs to be reprogrammed as well. Like what?
But you feel the negative reactions when you're not consistent, or you feel more relaxed and more detached when you think about the consistency?
I'm more detached of that, but I
Yes,
still would like to be more consistent.
I mean, it is not just one belief that if you change, for example, you're gonna be more consistent. We've done like a small demonstration.
Yeah.
Maybe are some other beliefs there that you're not good enough, that if you become more successful, you're gonna lose your friends, or you're gonna have problems in
Yeah.
your family, or whatever. There can be the fear of success. There can be so many elements, but what you can change is specifically the beliefs. That's why you need to look at exactly what is happening in your subconscious mind and what programs you have,
Yeah.
and you need to check them one by one. Okay, I reprogram the belief that I'm not good enough. I reprogram the fear of the future, the fear that I never be successful, and so on. And once you reprogram all of those, that's when you know that you've done all the work possible to change your subconscious mind.
Huh.
And that's when you're gonna have a more profound transformation, because in the subconscious mind, it is not a program that I'm not consistent. It is many beliefs that creates this consistency in your life.
Yeah. So when you change your subconscious, you change your actions because you think differently, you act differently. Is that?
the actions and the decisions are not taken 100% by our awareness and
Okay, so your belief is you need to change who you are to do differently, to act differently. Not like act differently to change who you are, but change who you are to act differently. Or is that connected?
change your reactions and you will change your life.
Okay.
Because here is a big truth. We cannot control the things that are happening in our life, but we can control the reactions that we have to what is happening in our life.
Yes.
And what defines you as a human being is not what is happening or what you have in your life. What defines you as human being is the reactions that you have to what is happening in your life.
Yes. Okay. And back to the technique. So people need to learn those kind of the wording and
It depends.
and going down like what you're saying is like going down in your fears and then doing a command. So if somebody knows this process, they can do it by themselves.
Yeah, and they can apply it on others. It's very simple. In a couple of hours, I can teach you the technique. It's not complicated, but usually people prefer to work with one of my facilitators because I have a huge team in Romania of facilitators where they enter like a mentorship program where I teach them the technique, but they also work with the facilitator to do like weekly calls in order to do the digging technique and to guide them until they have a profound transformation.
And what are some of the craziest things that happen? Like people came here with this and then came out on the other end. You talked about the girl with a sense of smell. Are there any other examples that are like
Well,
super crazy?
so many. I mean, the technique also, it is a common truth now that if you change the negative emotion, the body will heal. And I saw so many like miraculous healings, but I don't want to necessarily promote them because it's not legal to say that, hey, you heal yourself. I
Yeah.
can heal yourself. It's very bad seen by the government or whatever.
Yeah.
But I saw even people, I mean, I have testimonials with people that got cured of cancer, or even diabetics and so many other. Like for example, it was a guy that had the legs twice bigger than the rest of the body. When I saw him the first time, I thought he was doing cycling every day or whatever, doing delivery pizza with the bicycle, whatever.
Yeah.
But no, actually 7 years ago, he had, I mean, about 10 years ago, actually, he has done like a dry fasting for 7 days. He did not drink any water or any food. He didn't eat any food for 7 days.
Yeah.
And basically his body got into a shock, had a trauma, and the body stored water into his legs so that the next time when he might be in the same situation where he didn't had water,
Yeah.
he could survive. Yeah.
Wow.
And what I've done is to reprogram those memories and the trauma that his body had during the dry fasting. And in 2 days, his legs went back to normal. Everybody was crazy. Like, how is this
Oh, wow.
possible? And he's done a lot of therapies and a lot of surgeries to recover his normal legs. And
Yeah.
he couldn't. And in 2 days, his legs went back to normal. And so many other. For example, I still feel emotional about one healing that I had. It was like a, let's say, prosperous father, and he had a daughter. She was like 14, and his daughter was so anxious because she was traveling with her father into different cities in Romania, and she never had a social life, and she felt very bullied into different social environments and school that she was in, and she couldn't speak. She was so blocked, like in anxiety, that she couldn't speak normally.
Yeah.
And she barely speaks even with um, her father. And I've done a couple of commands. I was on a Zoom call with her father, the father and the daughter. I done a couple of commands, and then the daughter looked at his father. And she said, I don't feel the negative emotion. I don't feel the negative anxiety. I can speak now. She started to cry. His father started to cry, and it was like such an
Wow.
amazing experience
Crazy.
for both.
Wow. And now in Romania, you have a very big following.
Yeah.
Wow. And what's the next step for you? Where you see?
Well, I want to expand it internationally now, the technique, and yeah, we will see what is happening. I have a big vision, and I believe that this technique will revolutionize the self-development and therapy industry in the coming years.
Amazing. And how can people, if they want to go and experience the technique, work with you, how can people find you?
Well, on my Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
available everywhere. But for those that wants to experience the technique, because here is a guarantee that I have, you cannot enter my program or learn the technique if you don't see results free in the beginning firsthand. So you need to experience the technique, and only if you see results, you are able to buy my product or a mentorship program or whatever. So everybody is welcome to experience the technique. I have a team of facilitators. Even in English now, I have about 5 facilitators. So if anybody watching right now, they want to transform their life, they can come to experience the technique for free and
Amazing.
see what results
We're
they
gonna
can
put
have.
links in the show notes so people can find out.
Yeah,
Cool, man. I really, really appreciate you coming, doing this. I know doing this live on camera is
it's chill. It's
yeah,
chill for
yeah, yeah.
me.
Yeah, I love what you're doing. Thank you for reprogramming my belief. Feel better now. Any other parting words you want to say before we go?
No, no.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Try it at home. It's quite amazing, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.